So I guess I know when I was a new agent, you get your license and you're kind of like, all right, now what do I do? You know, how can I move my business, my brand forward? What can I do every day to try to help my cause? And it's slow and steady at first. I'm going to try to give you some ideas of what you can be doing every day. Okay, then I'm going to throw it back to you guys and talk a little bit about what you want to do. I like your Van Meter idea. I know you were talking about doing some geo farming. We could go into some ideas and collaborate on what might be the best way to attack that here in class if you want to, or we can meet afterwards too. But the first rule of this is to show up. Like you're going to find yourself with days like I don't have any schedules, or I don't have any appointments. You still have to show up. You know, whether that's isolating yourself into your office at home. If it was me, I wouldn't do that if I was you. I would come into the office and be around other people that are doing it at a high clip and start to emulate what they're doing. Start picking up the phone, start making, you know, contacts and having conversations. Conversations are key. Conversations lead to conversions. So you need to have as many conversations with people that you can a day. And when I was coming up, you really only had one way or two ways. It was face-to-face and phone. And you didn't have the internet, it wasn't social media, you didn't have text, you didn't have any of that. But the reality of it is, even though how we can connect with people has changed, the fact that what we do is we build and maintain relationships. That is what you do as a realtor. And selling real estate is the ancillary benefit from that, okay? So what I'm going to try to get you to understand is what you can do every day for an hour or two every day to help build your brand, and then ultimately what you're trying to do with these pillars, and I'll get to that, okay? First and foremost, and a lot of you guys have sat down with me one-on-one, so it'll be a refresher, but I do think it's important to ram home to you, okay? Especially my two team agents that we talk about all the time. And kind of give you a background about me. You know, I started when I was really young. I really didn't have a focus of being a big agent or trying to list and conquer the world with that. I just wanted to buy and sell my own houses. So my focus was definitely different than probably what your focus is right now. It wasn't until I got to be in my mid-20s where that kind of changed. All right, so I started at 18, made $9,000 my first year, you know, which is nothing. You know, I mean, the people that actually put their faith in me was my cousin Frank, my aunt, and the fact that they even bought a home through me is ridiculous because I was a baby. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So, you know, you will rely on your friends and family and kind of fake it till you make it. But once I was in my mid-20s, everything shifted for me when I realized that I wasn't going to be the type of agent just by my name alone and being related to, like, Nick and I are cousins. His dad's my first cousin, his grandma's my aunt. My dad's sister. So, and we're related to everybody. I mean, how many family members we have? 500? I don't even.
It's a lot. It's a lot of action going on.
A lot of action. I thought just by being related to everybody, everybody knows being a swell guy, you know, you're gonna get all this business, and that didn't happen. And I'm here to say it probably wouldn't happen for you either if you're just expecting it to fall from the sky. But once I started to be intentional about my relationships with people and started to come up with a system of how to touch them and connect with them on a monthly basis, things really pivoted for me. And it started to snowball. It took me about a year of doing it before it really started to pay off. But then it started to pay off in a really big way, and it seemed to almost double itself every year. Okay? So there is a slow ramp up to this. It's not going to happen overnight, but it does work. I can tell you from someone where the business really wasn't working for me the way it is now. It is because of what I do now and what I'm trying to teach Harold and Nick to do. It's definitely Harold fights an uphill battle because he's not from here. He's from Davenport. So he didn't grow up here. He doesn't have 30 high school friends and childhood friends. He's got to build one client at a time, build his fan base, right? If that's where you're at, even if you do have friends and family here, that's where you're at. We're building our fan base, one client at a time. That means building the relationship, being their trusted advisor, and nurturing that relationship after the sale, okay? Can't think of everybody as one transaction. If you do that, you're very small-minded. You build a relationship right and become their trusted advisor, these people will refer their friends and family to you at a very high clip. I mean, 30, 40 people over 10 years, right? If you nurture that relationship well. The more people that you service well, the larger that sphere gets, the more referrals that come in. And the benefit to this is, yeah, you have to do open houses now. And you have to chase cold leads that I give you now. But when you get to that level, 5 to 10 year mark, and you help enough of these strangers and friends and family with a high level of service and wrap your arms around the people you really like, they're referring you other people that you actually enjoy being around. And it changes everything about how you feel about your job. Now going to show houses on a Saturday afternoon, it's not really that bad. You're going to, you're laughing with these people and having fun with them. You've gone to their baby showers and their graduations, and because you genuinely like them. When you hold a networking event, which we'll get to, and you invite friends and family, and they come because they like you and you like them, it changes everything. All right, versus the cold lead, the sign call, the open house person who, yes, you have to do this. You have to earn your bonus. You have to bribe. But these people don't trust you. They don't know you. And it's lower quality of lead. Turning means you need more of them to turn less of them. I don't need, someone calls me and says, Matt, my buddy Charles is buying a house. He's expecting your call. But Charles is already mine. I don't have to sell him on my quality or my value. It's already been sold to me by the person who referred me. Now me and Charles can have a good time, and I can take him through a high level process, which we're also going to get to as far as like how something you can do now is to build your process. Don't wait till you're busy and then you're trying to build your processes, okay? So first and foremost is to work your sphere. This consists of your family, your friends, ex-coworkers, if you worked another job before, acquaintances, right? Try to get a big list of these people together. They say everybody knows 240 people. You're going to struggle to get 240 people. Like the first 50 you'll rattle off, but then after that it starts to get, you're looking through Facebook like, damn, do I even know this person? So you want to get that on a spreadsheet. You want to get that into constant contact or any kind of CRM you're using, and you can really go deep with it. But at first I would just get names, spouses' names, address, email address, phone number. And then as you start to grow, you can go deeper with it with birthdays, kids' names, kids' birthdays, anniversary dates, things like that. You can add layers to how you touch your sphere. So
what CRM system are you using to track?
We're using Follow Up Boss right now. I was using Constant Contact for a long time. We're only doing our newsletter out of that though. But really my A clients that I'll tell you what I do with them. My A clients are 55 right now. I started with 20. And when you start to build your A clients, think about, first of all, who you really like. Who really do you believe sees you in a good light or high value that would recommend you to their friends and family, their coworkers based on who you are as an individual. I'd also start thinking about where they work. It's nice to have somebody from Wells Fargo. It's nice to have someone from Principal. It's nice to have someone that works at the county. Nice to have people on your list that are actually around people with jobs. The stay-at-home mom, it's a hard job to have, but she's not around anybody. Not unless she's at the gym or, not saying you don't have her on there. I'm just, think that way. Think of who works for the sheriff's department, police, who's around people that would be able to say, oh yeah, my buddy Bill's buying a house. I got the perfect person for you. Lindsay's great. We love her. We used her, You mind if I could give Lindsay your contact information? Go ahead. They call you up and say, Lindsay, buddy Bill, my coworker Bill, buying a house. They told all about you. Here's his number. He's expecting your call. Right? There's a certain way to train your A people on how to do that. Right? Because you will hear, inevitably, I'm sure Fixie's been doing this for a while. You've heard, hey, Fix, I gave your card out, right? And then that card really never makes its way back to you. But you're thankful someone thought about real estate and they gave you your card. It's a great opportunity to write them a letter. Just say, hey, Nick, when your friend had a real estate need, I appreciate you thinking of me. There's a $30 gift card. In the future, if you ever have anybody that has a real estate need, see if you can get permission from them to give me their contact information. I may or may not be able to help, but I'll know we'll have a conversation. Sincerely yours. I'm training them how to refer me business, not just to refer me business. Okay? All right, so what we do once you get your list done, don't even think about who they are first. Just get everybody you know on the list. And you can sort of qualify them into who's going to be your A clients, who's going to be your B and C clients, you know? And don't worry, I don't care if it's 10 people on your A. You can do some special things for people on your A clients. So there's a trainer out there that teaches this. A buddy of mine from Denver was a lender out there and he sent me these CDs. I'm listening to it. This back then you had CDs in your car. And light bulbs are going off because I've been in the industry long enough to know that all of this was true. Like I inherently knew this, but for some reason I had to hear it out loud from this guy. And you could buy the system and he would send you stuff to send to your clients. And I found it pretty dry. Like it was informative, how to best stage your home, colors of fall. Like, that sucks. Like I wanted to do something more, I wanted to do something special. Like I wanted to do gifts every month to my A clients where they were excited to go to the mailbox once they saw my envelope. Like, what the hell's in here now? You know, it's always a gift card. It's always a coupon to get your furnace serviced in the wintertime. It's always $25 off your tax prep. It's iCups tickets. It's Jolly Holiday Lights. It's scratched tickets. It's sometimes the lottery gets real high. And I'll go and buy them for all of them. And, you know, of course, I'm signing the back. I'm like, no, we're splitting this shit. You're not winning 320 million and I'm stuck at going to work next tomorrow. We're splitting. We're in this together. You know, and you can say something clever if you got some humor in it. Like, hey, you know, you gambled on me and I can't appreciate it. Let's do this together. You know, you can do something clever. And there's all kinds of things. Let your imagination roam. Think about who owns a business that you might be able to help. Maybe someone owns 5, 6 dry cleaners around town, and you could give a $10 off with any $50 more spend. You know, and really help your business owner too. You know, someone opens a new restaurant, or my buddy opened Barntown. He just opened it up. He wanted people to come into his place because, you know, get free appetizer and a draw beer with any purchase of a meal or 2 meals or whatever it was. You know, leverage your, and that didn't cost me anything. You know, the $25 off the tax prep didn't cost me anything. $25 off your furnace doesn't cost anything. Now the Cubs tickets and stuff does, Jolly Holiday Lights and things like that. We try to do 2 pot buys a year. Over the new year, I go by their home. Yeah, you know, 55 people's quite the chore. 20 really wasn't that bad. 55 people's quite the chore. We put together. I had a couple cans of neon beer from Barntown. We did. Our cousin has a restaurant. He charges on sauce. To me, is a really good friend of mine. They make these Wandas, which are Italian cookies. And I have a buddy that makes this really cool hot sauce. Brown Dog Farms. Everything was local made, and they're all friends of mine. So I made a nice letter of what these people were and what they were to me. Bought these little baskets on Amazon, drop them off at their house, and I call every single one of them when I'm on my way over. Hey Nick, this is Matt. I'm in your neighborhood. I have a gift for you. Are you around? I don't want to take too much of your time. I just want to hand it off to you. If they're home, great. Now, face to face, you won't get a better ROI or return of your investment than face to face. Okay, you won't. So we do. Why is this matter? So what is going on?
Welcome to our world.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm not chocolate.
They like your hair gel.
No, I haven't heard that.
Did you just say that you're not getting as big of ROI face to face?
No, you are. It's your biggest ROI.
That was like.
It's your biggest ROI. That's why your coffees and stuff with people are very important. And until you're as busy as you want to be, and I mean $10, $12 million a year of production, you know, this is something you should be doing as often as you can. I say coffee because it's relatively cheap. If you're not making the type of money you're going to be making, you know, lunches and dinners and drinks can burn you out quick. An $80 tab for drinks, you know, or $50 tab for lunch. Coffee's gonna cost you like $10. You know, and it's a good way to start your day. All right. So we send, yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned every single month you're mailing something to the 55 people on your A list.
Yeah, I'm in that as a team lead. I'm mailing his 25. I'm mailing his 10. I'm mailing my other teammate his 25. So it's getting to be quite the racket now.
So like you mentioned, like Jolly Holiday Lights and stuff. So you don't like send out an email or anything asking who wants tickets. You just throw 4 in an envelope and send them. And if
Well, 4. I said 1. One or 2. You know, $20 a piece, or used to be 10 when it was at Gray's Lake. But no, yeah, 1 ticket. Cubs tickets I might do 2. $4 or $5, admission fees.
But you're not like sending out an email saying RSVP if you want tickets, you're just popping them in.
These
the
are
mail.
my A clients. I already know who they are. No,
Are you doing the monthly mailers that concept does?
Are you sending these out to more than just your A clients?
your A clients are your first class passengers on your airline. They're the ones with the comfy seat, the cocktail, waitress, hot towel. These are different than everybody else in this riding commercial. Not that you shouldn't check in on them.
You're talking about these are the people that you know, if somebody mentions real estate, they got your back.
Right, they're gonna refer you business. People who are referring you business.
So are you,
My mom's on my A list. My mom's been a great source for me, they'll say. You know,
What about your B and C clients?
well, we're gonna get to that. We
where do you classify people that have purchased a home from you?
ask clients.
They're
They're
not on that A list? So how many times a year are you touching them?
We're doing, that would be my B and C deal. We're doing, a newsletter that gets sent to everybody, not including my A's, my B and C's. And I do believe that you should isolate a certain number of your B and C's that you think, I should know these people better. They should be my A clients. And those are people you go have coffee with too. These are people that you try to, these are people when you have networking events. Like let's say you're gonna do a big day at the Cubs, or you're gonna have a barbecue, or you're gonna have a pumpkin patch event like we've done. Santa photos. We have haunted Halloweens at the mansion before. When we do that, you isolate. Maybe like us, I don't know how many people we have, 5,000 people. On my BNCs alone are probably 300-400. I might isolate 80 of them to come to our networking events, knowing that only 30 to 40 might show up. And then of course I'm always inviting my aides. Okay, so I am trying to bring, and then you will find through the newsletter and through networking events and through face-to-face coffees and stuff, they will refer you. And they are no longer a B and C client at that point. They are an A client. And that's how your list goes from 20 to 55. All right. And then every now and then you have to look at your A list that they were referring you. Maybe you fumbled something so they're not too hip on you, or maybe they fell, brother got licensed. So they're not, you got to throw them off. Tighter you can keep that list, the better. And think about it. One person from that A list referred you one deal a month or one deal a year, and you have 20 deals, 20 people on it. That's 20 transactions a year. It's roughly about $100,000 make, right? You might have $6,000 a year in maintaining this, right? So that's what we're doing with our A list. What you can do on a daily basis, we talk about, and all some of you have sat down with me, we talk about planting seeds. And this is where you have to be really disciplined. Now, this is, it takes a lot of discipline to do this. I find myself falling out of it too. You want to try to plant 15 seeds a day for 4 days. All right, and I generally like to do this in the mornings. I'm going to try to give you some ideas. And again, you're new, so you're wondering, what in the hell do I do every day? When I was new, you know what they did to me? They threw this book in front of me that's about this thick. It's called the Reverse Directory. Anybody know what this is? You know what this is? Like you can look up Adams Street, and then they give you a list of everybody on Adams Street. Like you can look people up with phone number. It was like a weird phone. They just start calling people, they say. Just start calling people. It's ridiculous. Horrible way to do business, right? I did it, and it sucked. So what I want you to do is do 15 seeds a day. And if you're taking notes, take these notes. Any face-to-face conversation, any face-to-face you have with somebody is worth 5 seeds, right? Do your coffees. These are your lunches. These are events like weddings, you have graduations, D&I groups, like when you get yourself in a group. You like to golf, get into a women's golf league. Your churches, your charity groups, birthdays, networking groups, right? Be creative. Hear me say that a lot. 4 seeds are handwritten letters. Now, these are generally great after you've had a face-to-face with somebody that's a 5 seed one day, and the next day you plant 4 seeds with them again to reinforce it with a handwritten letter, right? These are also sympathy cards. Someone's dog passed away, or someone's family member passed away, or these are also happy birthday and congratulation cards, graduation, weddings, anything that's job promotion. Send them a handwritten card saying congratulations.
Now, do you do that, like, do you have like your own, I don't know, real estate cards, like, do you
No.
always do it on there, or it's just, thank
I
you,
go,
this
no, I got a
is-
big stack of sympathy cards from Hallmark in my desk, and I got a big stack of congratulations. That way I don't have to run and go buy one every time, because I'll procrastinate on that. I'll spend $20 or $30, $40. I also go spend $300 on Jeffrey gift cards and buy 10 of them. So I always, anytime someone refers me to business, a written letter. Nicole, thank you so much for referring Tom or introducing me to Tom. I know I'm in a gray area here on, you're not supposed to do that, but, but it means the world to me that you thought of me. Keep them coming. $30 gift card. I use Jethro's. The dude's a creep, but I don't know that. And he's got restaurants everywhere. So I just, I used to skip. I used to do a lot of places where my spirit was, like to me is, but the reality of it, like Nicole, if you live in Ankeny or out on the south side that often. So you try to get a restaurant or something that has multiple chains that's pretty cool that, what I mean, they're gonna go use. Right? Three seeds are phone conversations. But keep in mind, if that's worth 3 seeds and I have 5 phone conversations, I take the phone, you've got your 15 seeds done. If I have coffee with somebody, write 2 handwritten letters and a phone conversation, I'm done for the day. As far as planting my seeds, okay?
When you're sending a card, are you putting a business card in there every time, or are you
No.
just sending it like a
No.
friend, like normal?
Friend.
Okay.
If I write a handwritten letter, usually I'll at the end of it, I'll remind them, hey, if you ever had someone that has a real estate need, make it either any introduction you think I'd be eternally grateful or. When it
Lots of
comes,
birthday cards are on here somewhere. that
yeah,
you
when it
can-
comes to congratulations and
Keep what you
sympathies,
want.
you don't.
Yeah.
Real quick on the phone conversation, what is the purpose of that phone call?
Well, that's what you have to figure out. You don't just call. Now, if it's someone that's really close to you and phone conversation, check in, see how they're doing. There's someone really close to you. If it could be a lead. These planning seeds could be leads that you have cold leads. Pick up the phone and call. Now, if you leave a voicemail, that don't count.
Yeah.
You actually have to talk to somebody, all right? But that leads me to my next one after the phone, and we'll stay on the phones.
I guess
Okay.
I'm a little confused on what
The phone conversation could be just telling my people, hey, you know what, I got this, we're gonna drop by pumpkins this week, we're gonna pop by gifts. Just letting you know I'll be around this week and I'll call you when I'm on my own. It's a reason to call.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, I know the tax assessments just came out, people are really disappointed. If you ever want me to take a look at your house, make sure it jives with what your home's worth, just let me know, I have to do that. If you want to dispute your taxes, it's really easy to do, I can guide you through that. And think of something.
Yeah. So what would you do with the cold lead? What would that phone call be?
Steve, I got your name and number about a house being part of Beaverdale. Just wanted to see if you were still in the market, if you were getting the help that you deserve.
How many times do you follow up with those cold leads?
I don't work cold leads anymore. I'm trying to get them to the team. That's what I'm trying to tell you is that I don't work them anymore. I don't do open houses anymore because I have people that refer me business and past clients. I don't have to. If you want to work the cold lead though your whole life, feel free to. You will burn out. You will hate this job. You have to now, and you have to for a significant period of time. But if you do this, eventually you'll work with a higher level quality client. You'll have to. And that's what I think we all aspire to be, right? Right? We want to work with people that we enjoy ourselves. So I give them all to the team and let them work the lead, and they're doing a hell of a job, and they're grinding out, and they understand now that, man, there's a lot of L's in there, aren't there? I mean, to get to the W's, there's a lot of L's. Yeah. If you're really, really good, and I think both these gentlemen are really good, they're getting good. You're converting at a 10% clip. That means, every 100 leads you get, you have to convert 10. Every 20 I give you, you're converting 2. That's an awful lot of follow-up and bullshit to get to, you know what I mean? But if Harold gets someone like Liz called, hey, her friend Amy's selling her house, that was 100% what you were getting at. Yeah. But Destin and Ashley, 100%, no doubt you were getting that. So that's what I'm trying to lay on you.
So I actually haven't done any cold leads. All the sales I've done have like been personal connections. What are the cold leads? Are they people calling in to you? Are they like website?
Well, you're gonna get some through Lead Street, we get them through Zillow, we get them through, Facebook, we get them, there's cold leads.
Are you guys paying for leads through Zillow then?
Mhm.
Okay.
Do you recommend doing that? I know that can get expensive for new
Yeah.
agents that don't have a huge marketing budget.
Right, I think you have to decide what's best for and we're gonna get to that too, kind of in and out thing. We're gonna try to spend money with Realtor.com. I'm gonna try to pump these guys, at 10% clip that they're performing at, try to pump in as much money as I can. But it's not the only thing they do. I'm working their sphere for them. They're at open houses. We're doing networking events together. We have social media, and we're gonna get to all this. You can't just have one line of revenue, one thing but the business. You gotta have multiple. Starts with your sphere. Your A, your B, and C's. Then I would move into open houses. And I'd have you somewhere every week. And if you're working in an area like you want to work Van Meter, then you're in an open house in Van Meter every Sunday. And I know you have kids, but that's the price that you're going to pay to be successful. That's just it. 1 to 3, And I'm not advising you to miss soccer games and
No,
stuff.
I understand.
If you have to do it from 10 to 1, then do it, because you got to be at your boy's soccer game or something. I don't want you to, because those things only come around once.
So do you call those other agents and just ask if you can host an open?
Yeah, you have to be within our company, but yeah, yes.
I mean, none of them. So I can't call someone from another agency
No,
and ask them.
I
to
don't
host
think
an
that's
open?
kosher, is it? I don't think we do
It
that.
can be done, but it won't happen.
So, hopefully you can change that.
Yeah.
I'll give you some ideas on how that might happen, okay? So, videos, you can do video blasts too, but again, it has to be something of value. New businesses that are opening up where you're looking. If it's a Van Meter has a new business, so go do a business spotlight and do a video and put it out to everybody. Quick CMAs. This has been something really great for me. Just you can do videos. How you can do an email too, and just hey, someone I sold the house to 5-6 years ago, and you don't have to have sold the house to them. If they're a homeowner, send it to them. Hey, hey Jason, the market's really hot. I thought you might want to know what your home is for. Below you'll find an attachment with four most recent comps that are similar to your home. Notwithstanding any updates you've done since I've seen you last, I think your home's worth $550,000. This piques your interest and you'd like me to narrow this down a little bit more, let me know. So in any event, I hope all is well. Ever have a friend or family member that has real estate need any introduction that you could make for me, I'd be eternally grateful. I think I send out like 5 a day, as part of planting your seeds. Those are videos, those are emails. You're planting your seeds every day. This is what you're doing when you're saying, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I should be doing. I should go in the office and what? Twiddle my thumbs. You should be planting seeds. All right? 15 a day, 4 times a week. Text, social media, email, happy birthdays. At the beginning of the year, anybody who did buy a home off you, send them their closing disclosure. Follow up with a phone call, Steve. You want to know what the phone call is? But hey, I sent you your closing disclosure, Steve. The reason I'm doing that is because you might want to bring that into your tax account here as you get your taxes done. How's everything going? How's the house? Everything good with the family? Awesome. It's great to hear. Another thing might be, you have a big preferred vendor list, your roofers, your siding. You send that out in an email and follow up with a phone call right afterwards. Hey, Steve, I just sent you my preferred vendor list. These people I trust to do work. If you ever take advantage of them, let them know that you're friends of mine. You can probably get a special deal, okay? I want to be the resource for you, Steve, for everything real estate. If you ever have an introduction you can make to someone as a real estate meeting, I would be eternally grateful.
It sounds like these phone calls are, for the most part, just like on up past clients in your sphere.
Sure.
And
I have a reason to. I'm not just calling them. Send them something of value, follow up with a phone call. Phone call that I'm sending you something of value, anticipating, doing a drop by, having a networking event. Hey, Steve, we're going to have this barbecue at the Grand Mansion. We're going to have a band, we're going to have Hy-Vee's catering, we're going to do some barbecue. Really love it if your family can come. It'll be a kid-friendly event. And we're going to do it Thursday from 5 to 8. Barntown Brewery's going to be there pouring craft beer. It's going to be a really good time. And you get the invite in the mail or on the Facebook page, but I want you personally to invite me. I mean, have a reason to call.
Yeah.
Right? Guys, this
How
isn't,
often do you do this event? Like, do you?
well, since COVID, it's been horrible. But I'd say the previous year from COVID, we had a barbecue event, we had a haunted mansion event, we had a pumpkin patch event that actually fell flat because it was cold and rainy. And then we had a photo, we get Santa in there and decorate the mansion, and we take a photographer, sit down on Santa's lap, take the photography, they edit it, the photographer does, and we send them out so they can send them as birthday or Christmas cards. And then we have them tag us on social media. We ask them to tag us. So you get kind of a double, not only with your A clients doing the value for them, but then you get a social media burst that, hey, thanks to the Matt Mauro real estate team, or that one's just me, which is Matt Mauro, Jet. So
I feel like I've heard two different things on the social media things. So do you guys specifically ask them to tag you? Because I've heard multiple people say, don't ask, because then people won't do it. But are people actually tagging you and you ask them?
yeah, I mean, these are my friends. Some people tag you, then we forget to ask them. We're just doing it as a courtesy. Yeah. I don't see why they wouldn't.
Huh?
It helps a lot.
To ask?
Yeah, like I've asked a lot of my friends to tag me. It's because that's just.
I would too. Your social media can be, obviously things that are going on in your life. There's successes, your kids and things like that, but it also has to be business. Like your new listings, your just sold, your testimonials are important. If you have something good to say, even this, like when the tax thing came out, it happens every other year.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
One thing I want to bring up, I saw this interesting quote, and they said it was from Elon Musk. I don't know if it was on the internet, but people always do baby showers when they have a new baby. Why can't real estate agents or other individuals have, opening business parties or celebrations that, hey, I'm starting a new chapter in my life. It's my real estate, whether it's you just got it or it's you're a year down the line. Hey, I'm celebrating the fact that I'm doing this business opportunity, and I want you to you invite people to it. No one, don't bring gifts or like that, but it's a party, it's a celebration. So that way your friends are supporting you and they're talking about it and they're posting pictures, and you kind of do an event, kind of like a birthday party or a baby shower, but it's a business celebration.
The hell would I do that? The hell would I? It's your friends. We did one
Yeah, we
for
did.
Nick.
Yeah.
Well, his family did one.
Right.
And I showed up. I mean, at the bar. I mean,
What's up?
Did a party?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, nobody tell me you did a party.
you know what? I found out the day of.
You're almost there.
So
No, my family was put together with like coworkers.
he was leaving his full-time job, transitioning into this full-time, and they had a little farewell and a little, here to your new adventure, and he had a little party, and my wife and I showed up, and I got Johnny come lately.
I actually like those. And they showed up.
I'm saying you get put in a ball and fired in the air in a rubber band next to somebody you think that y'all close.
Yeah, I agree.
First,
We rolled the slings out.
I was gonna let you go by yourself. He goes, whatever gets me close to death. Okay, all right, Harold, let's do it.
I had a couple truly.
That's all it took for you.
So, and getting back to this, I think that's great. I also, something else that you can do while you're, you really like somebody that you're working with. Throw them a housewarming party. This worked really well for me because I had a group that was referring me people from their floor at Wells Fargo. So I was like, I think I sold the whole floor house. So every time we'd have a housewarming party, it was another 5 people I sold the house to were there. And then there'd be additional people, and I just stood there realtor. But you would say, Steve, you're probably going to throw a housewarming party at some point. You're proud of your new purchase. I'd like to sponsor that. I could bring 3-4 cases of beer, a couple handles of alcohol, a few bottles of wine. You handle the invites and any food that you want to do, and I'll bring the alcohol. Or vice versa. If they're not drinkers, I'll get Jimmy John's, and you can make all kinds of shit. I'm bringing it. Be prepared to spend $250, $300, and let them invite their friends and their family. And you come in and, hey, this is my friend. This is my realtor. You'll walk out of something like that with business every time, I guarantee you. But what a great way to have a celebration for your new venture, but also with your clients. Get around their sphere. Okay? Right? What you'll find is that other people that come, they start to have conversations about home ownership too. And we should buy our own house, man. Steve has a nice house. We should look into it. Well, their realtor was there to see what Steve has Matt's info or something. You know, that's how that happens. Used to have him call me and like, hey, my name's Josh. It's a true story. You know, you met me at Grant and Megan's housewarming party. Oh yeah, Josh, I remember. No clue. You know, next thing you know, selling Josh a house. And then you get a call from your buddy who's referring you all the time, and you're like, yeah, we're over here, hey, trying to get Nicole to call you about buying her house. And, you know, and then you hear Grant in the background. Yeah, he sold me a house. You hear Josh in the background. You hear Tim in the back. Yeah, you know, you're just their guy. You sold like the whole floor of damn house. How can Nicole not use you? You know, so that, you know, that's kind of how that snowballs. The thing about here is to be creative. You know, don't let just I mean, you know, as far as networking events goes, you know, there's pumpkin patches, there's ice cream socials. You can have everybody to an ice cream shop. And everybody buys ice cream. I used to hand deliver pumpkins. So, well, it got to be so damn taxing. Like, you know, we have 55 people, everybody gets 2 or 3 pumpkins. It's a shitload of pumpkins to haul around. And then you talk about everybody's from like Norwalk to Southside to Altoona and Ankeny, Grimes and Johnson and West Des Moines and Ada. I mean, it's just like trying to track at Windsor Heights all through Des Moines. It's quite the excursion to try and knock that out over a weekend. Probably got to get back to that this year though, just because of COVID. We had one great pumpkin patch event where it was at Powell's. You know, they give them tickets. Their kids can pick out their pumpkin. We had like 35 families show up, all their kids running around. It was great. They used the tickets to get a medium-sized pumpkin. And at the end of it, Powell's gives me a bill. It was like $450 or something like that. And I normally would spend like $250 on the pumpkins. And not having to drive them around, worth twice that amount, you know, and you still get the face-to-face, okay? But pumpkins are a good thing to drop off. That little can, good thing. I think we're agreed that we're doing popcorn here coming up. A big thing of M&Ms and like a Amazon Prime $5 movie pass. We're creating like a movie night for the family, right? We get a little thing of popcorn and M&Ms. That's drop them out by Grace's house. Now, as you're doing this, this is just ways to plant seeds every day. I'm trying to give you an hour and a half of work to do every morning. This is what you need to do when you're saying I have nothing to do. All right. And now we're going to kind of shift over here. And as you're building your business, I want you to understand that you have to put pillars. And I'm sorry at home if you can't see that very well. Okay. It's kind of you can see there's pillars here. My handwriting sucks. So I'll go over each one. And there's more than this. I want you to start thinking, how many lines of business can I put? How many ways can I get business to come into me? And you start with your A clients right here. This is your sphere. You move to your B and C clients. You move to online leads and open houses. These 4 are what you start with. All right. The reason why I say that is because your A clients in your sphere is predicted on a national level that 42% of your business is going to come from that. It is by far the highest, okay? The next highest are online leads, which is 18%. So pretty big drop there, right? Now, when it comes to online leads, if you're not paying for them, you certainly have to make sure your profile's everywhere. You have to have a profile on Zillow. You have to have a profile on Realtor.com. You have to have a profile on Homes.com. You have to have a profile on your social media sites, maybe HomeLife, Effective Agents, wherever you can get leads. Some of those leads, HomeLife's free up until you sell a house. The problem with your new agents is it's kind of a matching game. So like the more you sell homes, the more you'll get matched. The newer you are, the less you're going to get matched. Effective Agents, there's all kinds of don't pay for the lead until you convert. When you pay like a 25 or 30% referral fee. Okay. So find those sites and get on them and make sure you have profiles set up. All right. Open houses. Hate them. Absolutely hate them. It's hit or miss, right? It's hit or miss. But I can tell you from a guy, and Harold was kind of humble today, which is surprising because he's usually bragging about himself. Harold's put away about $1.6 million of real estate in the last 3 weeks. Where does it come from? It's come from online leads. It's come from A clients referring him, and it's come from open houses, every single one of them. Am I right? Am I leaving anything out?
Open house, one open house, right? Like it's like bang, bang, bang.
So now you got to prepare for each one of these, and I don't know if we have enough time to sit here and go how you work every damn pillar, but you open house, you prepare, sign in sheets. Obviously, you have a marketing sheet there on the house. You might even, like, if you're in Ankeny and you have a $300,000 house, you might have a 280 to 330, 340,000 of everything else that's listed in Ankeny. It's stapled together. You don't give that to anybody, but hey, let's go through what else is here. Be prepared to succeed. And you try to build rapport and trust with people quickly. So how do you do that? Is you ask questions. And anything specifically. You own a house right now. Are you going to visit other open houses? He's got a Cubs hat on, and you're a Cubs fan. Talk about how they gave Rizzo and Brian away, and Javi Baez, how that sucked. Just try to bond with them personally. Right? Get them to sign in so we can follow up with them. They actually put their address in. Write them a handwritten letter the next day. Maybe a $5 coffee card in there. Hey, Harold was willing to thank you for coming through my open. I'd really like to work with you. What do you got to lose? Networking events. This is kind of a broad term, but anytime you have a wedding, they laugh, but I say funerals too. Obviously you're not working the room at a funeral, but it does show respect and it shows someone you cared about them. And B&I groups, which are business groups where a real estate agent will be there and an insurance professional and a mortgage lender and their attorney, and you get together once a week or once every other week and refer business back and forth and track it. Talk about your industry, your individual industries, right? Other networking events. You can do reverse networking events like we talked about, the barbecue, bring people to you, right? Graduations for people's kids. Birthday celebrations, when they invite you out to a birthday party. And I know some of us are like, man, I'm so tired, I just want to stay home tonight. All right, that's your choice. Or you can go and work the room and possibly make $25,000 off picking up 2 or 3 people. Suck it up. Social media, we kind of talked about that. You have to have a presence on social media. There are a lot of agents, and I'm not the expert on it. I'll get maybe 3 or 4 transactions a year from social media. There are people who capture dozens of transactions from social media. So we're trying to get better at it. Helps out Harold. He just looks good on social media. FSBOs, for sell by owners, expireds. Geographically farming, which I want to talk to you two about, well, really everybody about, but let's talk what you guys want to do. Where you're farming an area, you actually want to specialize in a localized area. This goes on and on and on. New construction, lot sales, commercial sales, REOs, estates and trusts and conveyorships. It goes on and on and on, right? But if you sat down with me personally, I've ever watched videos of me talk, you will understand that the business model where you only have one, like your A clients and BC clients, that's great and everything, and you can make a hell of a living in the market we're on with just that alone. You can make your 6-figure income if that's what everybody's trying to get to. But the market will shift. We'll have higher interest rates. We'll have huge layoffs, and then you will suffer and you might die on the vine. In the same way, Blockbuster only had renting movies, some candy up front. When the market shifted, in their case, Redbox came out, 50% of their business is gone. And then when Netflix came out, it was the death knell, right? This is set up more like Hy-Vee. Now, if you guys have been around long enough, Albertsons tried to come into our market. They're huge on the West Coast. They died. They took out someone who's been here since 1950, Dolls, had 13 stores, killed them because they didn't adapt, they didn't evolve, they didn't change, and Hy-Vee did. Hy-Vee was a grocery store. It's a butcher. It has a restaurant and fast food section, as it's a pharmacy. It's, you know, it's a wine and spirits. It's gas stations, has a non-food section, has balloons and flowers, has a bank in it that leases space, has Starbucks in it, on and on and on. There's so much way for you to come and spend your money there. You know? So if you only have, you need to have 4, build one at a time, but you need to have 4. And then from there, you got to put in 6 to 8 of them. And if you have 6 or 8 of them that are working for you, your income will go from this to this, right? So what'll happen is you'll get an online lead at 3 or 4 of them that you're, you know, 5 of them, you'll put 1 away. Then all of a sudden, someone from your newsletter hits you up, wants you to come over and do a listing. You get 2 people from your A group, give you a referral. You know, that's how that happens in a matter of 45, 60 days. And then for whatever reason, these go cold. What was just hot, but you pick up somebody from your open house, you're at a networking event and get a referral, and then someone you're geographically farming calls and says, hey, you look like the expert in our area, come over and list our home. And then every now and then you all of them fire. I'm like, oh shit. You know, you just banged out a $70,000 a month. You know, which we're all trying to get to, right? Right? So, FSBO's expired, we have scripts for. It's an interview process. It's really not that hard. It's really not that hard. It's nerve-wracking at first. And after a while, you realize if someone's home hasn't sold, especially in this market.
Hey, Matt, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Not even just FSBOs, but also just expiration. So I'll just use the real example. So every day I'm driving home and there's a sign in the front yard. And then all of a sudden the sign's gone and the house didn't sell. Like, I know I should probably know my parameters, but if you could remind me, like, the parameters there for like reaching out to that person and offering a more successful experience.
When you say parameters, you mean like rules? And
yeah, like, I mean, once that listing has been canceled or once that listing is expired, is it an immediate?
It's free game.
Okay.
Immediate. I mean, check on the MLS. Don't just rely on the sign.
No, yeah, obviously, yes.
Yeah, check on the MLS, and then it's all yours, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Call away. Listen, there's 3 reasons why a home didn't sell. Either the staging, the marketing, or the pricing. Keep it.
Well, I guess what I mean though is like, because in the listing agreement, it'll say like, unless it sells within X amount of days. So I mean, you just basically explore that and find out what that was, or.
I tell them there's a reason your home didn't sell. My goal is to get in front of them. I feel like if I can get in front of them or in their living room, my chances of converting goes up. So I'm gonna be the solution of why their home didn't sell.
What if they signed I guess my question is, what if they signed a listing? I mean, I guess I already know that. I'm saying we don't know what they signed, I guess. And like, for instance, if they signed our listing agreement, it could be up to, a year. They would still owe commission to the other person.
What are you talking about? No, if the listing's canceled, they don't owe anything unless someone from the past buyers come in. And,
that the previous agent procured.
Right. And that list has to be delivered to the seller prior to the cancellation of the listing. You got to have the name and the address of those clients, which a lot of agents don't do. No. So if you're going to take a new listing that expired, I think it'd be prudent to ask if they were provided a list of anybody that was protected. And it's generally 180 days. It's 6 months, but yeah, that'd be prudent to ask. If they said we didn't receive anything, and even if somebody did look at that listing with that prior agent under that listing contract, they're not protected. Okay? You want to weigh in on that?
No, you've got it. I mean, there's a definite expiration date that shows up on the MLS, so you can look it up that way as far as when it expires. But reserve buyers would have to be delivered.
Right. But if I'm going to call for sell by owner or an expired, I'm probably not calling for sell by owner that just went on live like today. I'm going to give it 2 or 3 weeks. Then after that, I'm going to try to come in and give fat value. I'm not really selling myself as I want your listing right now. Let's figure out why your home didn't sell. It's usually 3 areas why it didn't sell. If I could come over and take a look at your home, I'd be happy to give you some suggestions. And, I'm going to pinpoint the price. I'm going to go over what's been done with the marketing with it, and then obviously the way it's staged, the way it looks. Some people don't know. Why wouldn't they just paint the home, or why wouldn't they just do all new flooring? People don't want to do all that for the price point you're at. And you can be very blunt with them. They're not, you know, saving anybody's feelings by telling them their house smells like animals or smoke. And there's some remedies that we have that can do something about that. Or, you know, and then I really get into, if I'm going to be a for sale by owner or trying to compete with someone that was for sale by owner that called me, we met it, whatever. I'm trying to sell them on the fact that we are going to put them in the pool where 95% of the buyers are. You're fishing in the shallow end. I'm going to put you in the deep end. Like, don't you see, you know, and a lot of these people are already agreeing to a 3% buyer's commission. So to get the other half of that, knowing that I'm going to put you in it and then process the sale and show them all the processing the sale, it's not that hard of a leap. Say, you know, if you just put this on the market where you have it, you're already offering 3%, it's a good chance I'll get you more. No. So, I mean, we won't spend too much time with that. We have scripts and stuff. It's an interview process. You just need to get into the house, and once you get in the house, sell the fact that you're going to take all this off of them and do a better job, possibly get them what they're going to get, what you're asking, possibly more. Okay. But I really want to get into is the geographical farming, because I know Steve was talking about it, and now you were talking about Adele, or Adele Van Meter. So what can you do to geographically farm an area? First of all, if you're saying Van Meter, that's a large enough area to know there's enough turnaround there. You were looking at some townhomes specifically. Is there enough turnaround there? If there's only 2 sales there a year, there's not enough. If there's 15 or 20, then there's enough, because you can capture 70% of that market. Okay. Now, what are you going to do? You have to offer value. You have to offer information that is valuable while you're branding yourself. So one thing you could do is a newsletter like we do. We do everything about the money. You know, Cubs schedule, farmer market schedule, who's coming to Wells Fargo for a show, you know, and we do it every month. That's centered around that month. So August would have been about the fair and the lineup at the fair and the back to school links for what you needed for supplies and, you know, everything about August. You know, any Iowa Cubs things or any other events going on, Jasper Winery, whatever. You might do a newsletter that's all about Van Meter, all about it. What's going on in Van Meter. And then you might brand yourself with everything you do, getting in church bulletins. You subscribe to my newsletter. If you want to stay in the know of everything Van Meter, subscribe to my newsletter. Start to get people to subscribe to your newsletter because they want to know what's going on in Van Meter. And you can offer little slides of houses that have sold, and what they're for. Now with your townhome community, what are you going to do to offer value for the townhome community? They meet every month or every whatever for the association. If there's any change in the association, you could be the guy who lets everybody know what those changes are and how that impacts their living conditions. You could also send out mailers when everything sells or when something goes for sale and when something sells. Let them know what it sold for. You know? Any new business that opens up nearby in Van Meter, you could do a video spotlight on your newsletter, pimping that business. You know, become the expert, become the person that wraps themselves around there. You know, there's a guy in Detroit that would send out a big postcard, and he had everything that was listed and everything that sold in a specific area, and he sent it out to, I don't know, it was like 6,000 people, but he said he sold like 7 to 9 homes a month off of it, you know. So I tried to do it in Norwalk, and did it for like 9 to 10 months, and I took like 3 or 4 listings. Maybe I didn't do it long enough, you know. But it was expensive to do. You know, big postcard, you know, try to farm an area.
Well, let me tell you what I've done so far here recently, and then just critique me or advise me in whatever way you feel. So I did the athletic boosters for our school. So I paid and I did a marketing slot, and that's going to be handed out at every single home sporting event, football season, volleyball, basketball, all year long.
Awesome.
So I'll be in all of those, handed out to everybody home and away, people coming.
What does it say?
it says like your local Van Meter real estate expert, and then my logo, and then my contact information. Do you think I should change it? Because they haven't printed them yet.
Well, I mean, it's okay, but you're just another realtor. So
So
why,
what should I change the
why would I
verbiage
call
to?
you, I know what, I would drive them to something. Drive them to a newsletter that's all about Van Meter. Now you can doubly brand yourself. You're branding yourself on the flyer they're seeing or whatever, but now I'm forcing them into a newsletter where I'm gonna hit them every month with something. And it's all about Van Meter, whether it's the lime sweet corn on the corner where you can find it, or it's, you know, it's the football schedule for the high school boys, the sophomore boys, volleyball team, any kind of car wash they're doing, fundraiser for the, I mean, everything.
So
Everything Van Meter.
I did the mailer that I mentioned at the beginning of class, and I did ask them to subscribe to my newsletter from that. And then I do send out the newsletter
Right.
every month.
Any marketing that says the realtor falls flat, you want to have a call to action. Rich Bassford in Davenport, guy only makes about $2 million in commission a year, so what the hell does he know, right? But he has a
He's on the
billboard.
side of a bus.
He's on the side of a bus. He's on the side. He's up on these billboards. I'll buy your home in 90 days if I don't sell it. You know, I mean, it's a message. It's a reason to call. Shane's bald head on these bus benches. I say 9 out of 10 people from short sales. It's a reason. Now he's branding himself as a realtor, but he's speaking to somebody. Who are you speaking to? Just ask yourself internally. You're speaking to Van Meter people, but what value are you offering? Shane's offering value that if you're in trouble, I can help. Rich is saying, solving the conundrum between, do I buy or sell first? Taking that out of it. He's saying, I'll go ahead and buy. This is my house, and I don't need to make it subject to sell, because Rich has already got an offer on it, and if it doesn't sell in 90 days, Rich has already bought it. He's solving a problem. He's giving a reason. And I would advise all of you guys, if you're doing some kind of advertising, have a call of action. You know, have a, you know, the estate expert. You know, someone's passed away. You know, I can get you through probate, auction, models, cleanouts, property management. People that have, you know, trying to deal with it from Florida. And I value, this is why I do, you know, for you and Van Meter, I'm trying to push them somewhere where I can keep hitting them. And I'm becoming the local expert with everything Van Meter. I'm letting them know about everything that is listed and sold. I'm letting them know about high school. I'm letting them know new business that opens up. I'm letting you know. I'm everything. And you will start to become what you were saying you are. And that is the Van Meter real estate agent. They're going to put your face. They're going to put the reflection of your voice. With video, you can embed if you get the right program. Everything. You know? That makes sense? Does that
Yeah.
sound better to you? I know it's more work,
No,
but doesn't that ram it home a little bit more?
Yes, and so now my next question is, how much money do you suggest investing in marketing? You know, because I just hit my 1 year in June, so I haven't, you know, been doing it for a long time. So how much do you suggest spending in marketing?
Same thing the guy told me in Detroit was as much as you can without, you know, losing your house. That's what he told me in Detroit. I mean,
Don't you also think like if you don't have the money to, like, and I remember this back in the old school days, you don't have the money to advertise, you can also get involved too.
yeah.
Because like Van Meter
And
is
she,
small
you
enough,
are.
you're heavily involved. I think you'll get more from that than,
I think it piggybacks. They get marries off each other.
Right.
And like for a constant contact to do the newsletter, like a really nice one, that video, it's $154 a month. It's not overly expensive. Now, where are you gonna? You're already spending money putting yourself in these places. Now, just change the messaging and drive it to your newsletter because it's everything about Van Meter. If you live in Van Meter, you know, why wouldn't you want to know everything about Van Meter? Why wouldn't you have those conversations? Hell, put it on the back of your business card. Newsletter. And you hand it out to people saying, listen,
What I don't like-
it's everything about Van Meter. All the schedules, all the businesses, all the real estate. You know, if you want to stay in the know, just subscribe. If you know someone that would like it too, please share it. You know, every lead that comes in from Van Meter, every list that comes out for your son's baseball team, has everybody's email on it. Just send them an email, invite them to the link. Hey, listen, this is everything about Van Meter, and here's a link, you know. Some of them will join, some of them will say, oh, you know, no thanks. Right? You don't spend a shitload of money on a new newsletter. That's the beautiful thing about it. That's a beautiful thing. Now you're gonna take time vetting it. You know, you might spend 10 hours a month, you know, trying to get it. Hell, something that's moving as fast as Van Meter, you might do it twice a month. You know? But anybody who's interested in it and sees the value of what's going on in Van Meter will like it. They'll use it as a resource.
Do you know how Rick Wanamaker gets all the listings for Napa Valley? Like, how is he getting all those huge
Because
listings?
he's 72 and everybody who lives in Napa Valley is 72.
Well, it's turning drastically right now. It's like houses
It
are
is.
selling. but-
And Rick's been around since 1937. I
Oh.
mean, literally, that's just how it is.
Pretty close.
And honestly, we were just talking about this upstairs. I don't know.
I don't know him, but I do
He
see
is
all the
the
listings in Napa
nicest
Valley.
dude.
He's also a
Call him right now, 771.
Detroit basketball Final Four.
Yep.
He's a legend. So
His wife is.
that helps. That helps as well.
Call him right now and he answers his phone. Like, he'll sit there on the phone for 40 minutes. You know, that's just who Rick is. And he never gets upset. Doesn't care, you know, just lets things flow. Guys been doing it forever. There's something to be said about longevity. If you're able to survive in this business for 10 years, things will be remarkably easier, especially if you're doing this type of stuff every day, right? It's going to get remarkably easier. But 70% of you that are new, and everybody here tuning in, don't get scared. The 70% of you that are new, if you don't do these things every day, you won't be here for 3 years. You just won't. Only reason I'm still here is because I was 18 when I got in, and I didn't have the, you know, I mean, I didn't have the life, I didn't have the kids, and now I didn't have pressures like some of you guys have. You know what I mean? I could make $34,000 a year and survive easy. If I'd been 28, 29 trying to get into this and did what I did, which was not the right thing to do, I wouldn't be here. I would have been one of the 70%. So I'm trying to tell you, you know, you guys have families, you guys have mortgages. You guys have responsibilities. I didn't have. I had the luxury of that. One of the luxuries of being so young getting in is you just don't have those pressures. You know? I just need beer money. Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
You know? So getting in and trying to touch on Steve, because you're a little different. You're trying to wrap your arms around the townhome community. You got to ask yourself, what kind of value can you add to the residents there? What kind of value can you add? You know, maybe it's every once a year you do a quick CMA on it, or you just let them know, hey, from last year's average value, you're up 5%. You know, and you try to touch them once every month with something that's beneficial to them. You know, that's not over, God, Steve again. You know?
So the kind of the way that I'm planning to attack it right now is to do like just listen, just solds.
Of course.
And door hangers, let's say. Bring this door hanger to me and I'll give you $25 gift card. Or I'll give you a
How many townhomes are this?
236.
Jesus, okay, it's definitely being a town. All right, I'll give you another idea, but this is kind of, go every spring. First of all, send a mailer out to everybody, let them know that April 14th is trash day. You're running out 2 big ass 40-yard rollaways. You're gonna set them out there, and you're gonna be there for 3 hours. People can come throw away anything they want. It's called spring cleaning for, what's the name of the moment? Village of West. Spring, and you're there meeting everybody as they come, being that shirt on. And they know, yeah, I'm Steve, I'm gonna send you messages. Oh, Bill, it's finally nice to put a face with the name, and I'm glad you're able to take advantage of it. Why are you doing this? Well, I just want to do something nice for you guys. I'm sending you something every month, and you know, I wanted to do something nice for you. I want to do something that you thought was that valuable. Who doesn't have shit they want to throw away every year? You know, maybe even drape the rollaways with some marketing.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hey, spring truck.
Yeah.
I'll give you an idea I thought about a long time ago, but never got it, so I'll give it to you guys. You see a dumpster in front of somebody's house, about 50% chance those people are moving. They're either remodeling it to move or
Oh, that's
It's
new construction.
Well, that's, well, even then, it's for sale. So
And then if you do that.
why not get with those rollaways and pay to be on the side thing? You know, for how much you have to pay them. Look like shit anyway. Man, this sticker, it doesn't matter what it is. Gotta give you $4,000 a year. For all your large notices.
So I've got one other
Think outside the box. Think about what creates people move.
question too. So I have a buyer that will only live in Timber Ridge and Urbandale. And they're the standalone townhomes community. What is your suggestion for the best results to, contact people? Do you think it's going door to door? Do you think it's sending a letter in the mail to that community? How do you, like,
I
try to
would
get
send a letter.
somebody to sell?
I would send a letter because you could do it faster, you know, but I have it on door to door. And
Do you get results with a letter?
yeah, letters, I mean, my biggest result from the houses I'm buying, not to say, I'm buying in this area here. After I'm door to door, I've done everything you can do in 27 years to get. Aside from trying to attack.
You think Rich?
Yeah.
No, not something.
In Urbandale?
No,
Oh my gosh.
So it's for sale by owner, but someone of my teachers.
That's another thing. Please use personnel. It drives me crazy when one of you hit me up on a day, 2 days after it lists. You're like, oh my God, why don't you tell me? Like, you knew about it 48 hours before anybody else. Like,
What are the best practices with personnel? What's like?
look at every post that comes on,
Yeah,
just glance at it. If it
Do you
doesn't
want me to
pertain,
put it up 2 months before we list it, or?
no.
Yeah, because I see
You
some.
put it up when it's able to be shown, which is generally about 24, 48 hours. Just give us the heads up. Just heads up. If you have a buyer need, like you just had, and Nicole was solid, but it only works if you put it on and you look at it. It doesn't work if you don't look at it. And I get there's a lot of shit on there that don't pertain to you. Just glance at it and move on.
I know like a couple things that I posted on there, like need help.
Mhm.
Nobody really responds. Now,
Need
maybe
help for,
like just properties that I'm looking for, stuff like that.
right.
Do most people not respond, or is it one of those things, are people doing it? Is it mostly just for?
It's a benefit to that.
I would, listen,
Right, yeah, that's
on,
what
It works for
on
that.
First to Know, this is another thing too that you can use it for. On First to Know is a search bar. So if you're listing something, like Nick just listed his papa's house in Ankeny, I could have put Ankeny need in that search bar, and I might have pulled something up you put 2 months ago. They just isolate those posts that say Ankeny. And I could have got back to you and said, hey, Jason.
Because I've noticed on
are you
there a
still
couple
looking?
times, there's people looking for something and then somebody's showing something and you've never seen that person that had that listing tag that other person. Like I've seen it a couple different times where it's like,
Yeah.
I hope they reached out to that person because it was the
Yeah.
same thing. But I don't know if that's happening or not.
Well, it needs to happen more. The more of us that use it and look at it, the more powerful it gets. We're a large company. They call us a large, we're medium size. It's a
I think
large,
we're medium-sized.
medium-sized company with 275 plus agents here today, and we're in the area, and probably 320 statewide. In order for all of us to communicate with them, we need a platform like this. Otherwise, we just don't have synergy. We don't have agent tours like we used to way back in the day. We don't have these things. Yeah, you know, and they put restrictions on us now too, where we can communicate with each other about upcoming listings, but we cannot place them in front of the public or advertise them in any way until 24 hours of being on the market. So that's another thing. Take a listing. Things are selling so fast. Sign the yard on a Friday, listen on Monday. I mean, that's kind of side skirting the law a little bit. I mean, it's to the letter of the law.
Mhm.
Give
One
yourself-
business day.
Give yourself a weekend of your signing yard. You know, of trying to get calls and stuff before it goes live. Put it on First to Know Friday. It's on Monday. Can't do an open house on Sunday, though, can you?
You can,
You can.
yeah, you're legal.
There you go. Do the open house on Sunday before everybody else gets to it.
That's okay to do that.
24 hours.
Yeah, you have one business day to get it on the MLS. You have a signed listing agreement on Friday, you are absolutely legal to market it as long as it's on the MLS sometime on Monday.
What if it goes live before you sign it? That
Oh, it's just, that's just putting a sign in is just your marketing,
Okay.
yeah.
Foods you put it in the sign.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a listing coming on live today. The sign was placed yesterday, lockbox placed yesterday.
Mhm.
Stay within the rules. But we can market to each other internally however we want. Hey, this is going on in 2 weeks, it's going on in a month. You know, I want to get somebody to drop. I don't know that I'd get somebody to drop until you're at least a few days away from actually being shown. Otherwise, what's the use? What's the use?
What's your opinion on, because houses are selling so fast, when you get a listing, on popping like the pending right afterwards? Do you put that on all or not to get calls? On your
Well,
sign, sorry. on your
Oh, I
sign.
never put pending or sold on my sign.
Yeah,
I never do. First of all, I'm superstitious. It seems like it's just a kiss of death for me. I don't know what it is, but sold sign up, it just
I
bothers.
just heard two different opinions. Some people are really strong, because they're like, well, yeah, well, I want people to know I sold this house so quick so that they'll call me. But then other agents that I've talked to are like, no, because then people don't call in for interest if they see a pending sign, and if you want leads, call.
Wasn't
us,
this
don't
that
put anything
conversation we had one time?
On
Mhm.
the signs. I just wanted to know your.
Honestly,
opinions on it.
you're probably better off putting a pending or sold sign off, or, you know, I'd say wait till after the appraisal probably, or maybe go pending after the inspection.
Yeah,
Think about it, is let's imagine this scenario. That place is pending and you get a sign call. What do you get told? It's pending? I'm just told.
I mean,
Try to
you
leave
can
it.
show them other properties or.
Try to get that with me, but chances of me doing that, unless you know something coming on in the area that I don't know about, that conversation.
And you're just fielding a bunch of phone calls and really aren't anywhere.
Right.
Or you're committing to follow
Same
up with
way-
somebody that you have nothing to follow up.
Same way with Zillow, these guys can attest, they call about a property, we look it up, it's pending, how far is that conversation go? Not very.
Typically, no.
Yeah. That's why you'll see a lot of agents say, would you mind if I show your property as a backup, for backup offers? They're just trying to get, they haven't told the client it's pending. They're trying to meet them there face to face, which is the strategy. They're trying to build rapport and get them, tell them it's pending when they show up, or discuss a backup offer. It's, you see it all the time now versus you never used to a year ago. But would your seller consider a backup offer? I mean, no one really wants to be in that position. They haven't met these buyers yet, so I'm really trying to get in.
On new construction, we did custom. Like, I never put this,
I don't either.
as many look there as possible.
I don't either. I don't put sold sign on it either. It's more superstition than any kind of strategy than anything else. Any of these pillars you want to talk about? Any of these pillars that aren't on here that you'd like to discuss, or figure out whether there's a line and there's anybody from home want to discuss anything, or if you want to go through any scenario based real estate that you're having troubles with.
Can you go through what percentage you think you people get from, because I think you said 18% was online leads.
Yeah, that's really where my knowledge stops on you. Like your open houses, depending on how many you do, I think it's like 5%. You can research online that, geographical farming was one of the top ones at like 8. But what I want to stress with this that we really didn't go over is that everything either has time and money into each one of these, and you need to track it. So with my A clients, I might have, $6,000 in here. But if I made 100 and that's considered make, the red's considered money in, and I make 100, I know this is worth my time and my energy. Is probably the best thing I do. With my B and C clients, they're invited to networking events and they got the newsletter, and I'm trying to isolate out of maybe 300 B and C contacts, trying to isolate 40 of them that I should know better. Like there's no reason this person I've known my whole life is not referring me business. Maybe I just need to go have coffee with them, right? So I'm spending even less money on my B's and C's. Oh, excuse me. But I'm not getting a huge return either. I'm spending maybe $1,200 a year and making 20 instead of spending 6 and making 100. Your online leads obviously is one of your most expensive ones if you're going to pay for online leads. So you might be here with your money, and you hope it doubles, right? You gotta quantify your time on open houses, not just your time, because there's not a lot of money in it, other than advertising, some boosts and stuff, right? So, time and money might be here, and you're only having 5% rate, you might double that. But I guess the point is, we need to know how much time, money is in each one and how much money's coming out. You gotta track it. Like Hy-Vee knows how much the deli did, not just the location as a whole. They know how the butcher did. They know what the plant and flower and balloon guy did. You know, they know. You know, they know the wine and spirits is up 12% for the quarter. They're not just taking Hy-Vee as a whole. This is how you run a business. You know? You know, in the same way when you sell cars, Jason, I'm sure they knew what a certain model was versus the next model. Like what was hot, what wasn't. Not just a lot itself. I mean, this obviously makes up your entire business, but the only way you're ever going to know what's worth your time and your money is to track. You know, if you put out an ad, like for Rich, for in instance, you know, Rich Bastard, his number on that billboard is not his cell phone number. It's a number that routed to his cell phone, but he can tell that it came from that. You know, he's not just hoping the billboard works. He knows the billboard's working. You know, same thing with anything that you do. You need to know whether it's working or not. You know, advertising is good. Brand awareness is good. Personal relationships, infinitely better. Okay, and then when you start to have both, that's when you truly have something unique, special. Okay.
How much do you suggest spending to buy Zillow leads?
I mean, I don't know that I can answer that. I don't know your budget or your, you know, things like that.
How much are you guys spending and what return are you getting and how many leads do you get a month?
Even that would be tough to answer. I can tell how much we're spending, but it's fairly new. You know, spending $3,900 a month, almost $4,000, right? And we're for the first time in my whole career, we're leveraging a lender partner with that. We're looking at leverage more lending partners with Realtor.com and try to get other lines established. But I have 3 agents I'm feeding, 2 you see here, and then Jeff, who's not here. When it was just Jeff, before these 2 schmucks showed up.
With love.
With love.
Yeah, very.
They
See how you talk about it?
We're down in the dungeon, over a grand.
So these guys, you know, Jeff, I think I was spending like $1,700. And that wasn't enough for Jeff. Jeff clicks at a very high rate. I mean, in terms of,
How do they send you leads? Just like a spreadsheet and then you start calling them?
no, they phone call him or they call him.
It's a live call.
It's a live call.
Oh.
Say, hey, this is the Zillow for you.
That's the thing, and you can do if you got the time, you can do like Shane does. He does Facebook ads, and those Facebook ads are very targeted. Like, a very specific target they're trying to hit. Whatever market, he's got like 5 or 6 of them running at all times. He'll get like 30 a day, but these are forced registration ads, so these aren't, you know, these are people that are signing up that maybe necessarily, you have to burn through maybe 100 of them to get 5 deals, you know, I mean, it's a lower conversion. So, but you can do that too. It's a lot cheaper. I didn't want these guys going through 100 leads to try to get 1 or 2 sales, you know, that burns you out and makes you less likely to think that the lead is quality, you know, so at least with Zillow, Realtor.com, these are people who are saying, hey, I need help, or I want information on all this house. And that gives you a chance. Not just develop, right? Right. I mean, Realtor.com is actually owned by us realtors at one point. NAR sold out. It's in 1998. Guess they didn't see the internet coming. I don't know why. Every article pretty much pointed that was the direction the business was going, but they just didn't see the power of it. Yes, I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for Matt?
Last one, sorry. So you mentioned that you're using Follow-Up Boss to track everything for your CRM. What's that monthly? What's the monthly fee on that for us to use individually?
$600. Here,
A year?
550 a year.
Yeah, I think it's $50 a month. It's not very bad.
It's not that bad.
It's actually
And you
pretty
can
cool.
pretty much do everything in it. Can you do all the monthly newsletter through it as well?
You can, but you can't embed video in it for whatever reason. You almost have to have
You
it.
have to follow up, or you have to follow up.
You have to have BombBomb.
So you-
But you
They
can
have
integrate it through like back there.
Yes.
To like your Notion for studios for newsletter.
I use Constant Contact right now. I'm actually, I like it too.
I wouldn't switch them. The only thing that's nice about Follow Up Boss that seems to be different is it does keep you on task of like, you need to call the person or text the person. It
It
stays
reminds
on.
you.
If he knows every morning at 6 a.m.
You can turn that off. But yes, it does.
Nick, you can speak to it probably better than anybody. Nick, Harold, I don't use it. I mean, it's for these guys and my assistant. And when it has to do with anything, that's why I teach you guys what I know, and that's like Michelle said, risk relationships with people. It comes easy for me. I hang around people I like to hang around. It's very natural for me to ask for introductions and show my gratitude when they do. And technology, I mean, if I didn't have a business, I wouldn't even have a cell phone. I hate technology. I can't figure out how to get my damn iWatch on silent. Well, that's why it's sitting there ringing. I spent 15 minutes over there to figure it out. I know.
Yeah, you just.
I know. My 16-year-old right now would just be like, boomer. And I'm not even a boomer. Like,
Yeah, but I think the point is though, is if you're good at relationships, a lot of this other stuff doesn't make sense.
it doesn't matter. And
But
you are
because,
too.
because I don't understand like the social media stuff. You know what I mean? I think it's great, but where, you know, you set these profiles up, but unless you're willing to feed that information, why would I ever go to your page? And so I think the younger people are really good at feeding it, which is really good.
But I think it's all to say that like, it's good to do everything. There's a lot of people that are focused on
Right.
one thing that brings them like
Right.
80% of their business, and then they spend 20% of their time on the other stuff that helps out. So yeah,
I think Matt and I would agree. I'd rather talk to 10 people. Like I got lunch, I got 3 meetings this afternoon, just people I'm going to hang out with.
And listen, this is what's going to be. You watch Jason a year from now. And now, granted, Jason's been in sales his entire life. This is not like he's, working at a pharmacy handing out pills and coming into a real estate. He knows how to close and sell, but it's his relationships with people that you watch what happens in another year. Because it takes a while
Right. No, it
to
does.
build up, ramp up, and then it just boom, it hits. That's how people associate.
But I just think a lot of people like you were wanting on the man meter, you know, just give them your time. Just work those relationships because that's what, and even if you sold a house a month at first, just get one, build from that.
Yeah. And do get involved with the team, see how they can do, how baseball teams are always doing something to build money for the trip, and you got volleyball. I mean, get creative. Make sure maybe you can get your patch.
A great
on the
idea
damn
is
shirt.
every football game they do, they provide lunches. My brother does this in Michigan. Every football game, they do away games. They provide a meal on the way home. And my brother caters that meal for him every time. His local high school. Well, there you go.
Who does?
And my brother sold houses to every one of the high school football team. Like the parents, obviously not the kids.
Yeah.
But like, do you know what I'm talking about? Like when they travel away, like say they go 2 hours to play, say Dowling goes to Iowa City. When they get done playing that game, my brother provides them food for that ride home. And every one of those kids know my brother. I know it's a fitness club and some other things in town too, but I'm just telling you, he's made a huge, huge amount of money off people that just have went through that football program. And then of course now he's got a kid that went to Michigan, now he's in the NFL. I mean, and you can see where it could go now, obviously. That's one kid out of, but it's a great idea, but there's what, 50-some kids now. You could make them.
Well, and Matt, if that's a duration out there, we're
Yeah,
quite
well,
concerned that it's your
no.
fault.
Yeah, I'm
My gosh, I'm not texting me pictures off now.
That's what it looks like out at Marcos.
Oh my gosh.
What is there?
The last time that, oh, come on.
It's no
Yeah,
big deal,
I was like,
yeah.
oh,
It was the jury show, yep. All right, anything else, Matt?
I don't have anything. Do you guys have anything on mind? Are they all up?
Yeah, they
All
left.
up?
Oh, we got one
Yeah.
left.
I would spend your time just building relationships, and then coming up with systems to maintain them, okay? I guess last but not least, would be your processes. And I meant to bring you one of our little buyer booklets today, but don't wait till you're busy to put your buyer through a product. Come up with your process. Earnest money link to inspectors, do's and don'ts of lending, timeline of events, expectations from clients, updates on appraisal, termite, title, link to the utilities, expectations for closing the final walkthrough. All things you can create and brand yourself, and have it sent out. Use Gmail and automatically send those out. Once you get a sell, you can program those to go out certain days. Have to, and then send them out. Have it sent out. Have it branded.
Do you send out an email every single week for the process?
We just set that up. I don't do shit. The system does it. But we're setting it up. It's my verbiage. It's what I want. I know the process. I know how I want the journey to go down. And right now, these guys are doing it. You guys should do it to know the journey and know yourself. But eventually, I want them listing and selling, building, maintaining relationships. That is their job. I don't want them sending earnest money links out. I don't want them sending inspection links out. I don't want them sending utility links out. That's all done behind the scenes for them. Put them in a situation, as well as myself, to convert, get the leads, get more relationship building. This just bogged them down. So it's important to know the process. Same thing with your credit. Do you have a good CMA? I know we're going to go over one after this. So if you guys want to stick around for that, do you have a good statement report? Do you guys have a good marketing plan? Do you guys have a preferred list if they want to do updates and stuff? Same thing with your clients on the buying side. Once they close, the closing dip, and 2 days after the sale, you send them a preferred vendor. This is a window guy. This is what else?
And as you're working through these, you're going to see that in the platform. So those are those pieces, working with buyers, working with sellers. That's where you get that done. So don't ignore the online platform piece of it, because there are links to a lot of things that the guys did before too.
When you do like for vendor lists, like
Yeah.
Can they pay you as a realtor, or can they pay for advertising?
Mhm.
That's what I was.
Think like sponsorship on that.
Well, let's say I want some advertising and go to a company and say, here's the deal. I'm doing advertising. I'll make sure that your name's at the top of the list if you'll pay for this advertising for me as a realtor. There's no legality issues there.
No.
Now, with a lender, you do.
Right now, I'm not talking about vendors. I'm talking
With
about
vendors.
people.
The only thing you want to stay away from is providing a mailing list to that vendor, because you need to have permission from the people if you are going to pass their information on to somebody else. Absolutely.
Make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, and that's the partnership that Matt was talking about too, in the newsletter, and you're going to provide $30 off of XYZ for them. So they're partnering a little bit that way. But absolutely.
Yeah, I don't see why they could. Or you could even negotiate a 10% all jobs. I was doing $3,500.
I just figured if like say you have $5,000 you want to advertise in this, and this,
Mhm.
and you know that you send out a vendor list that's this, and this, go to those, like a roofing company
Yeah.
and say, hey, here's the deal. I'm going to send out X amount. these, when I close on every deal, I'd like you guys to be involved in it because you've done all over the years.
Yep.
And would you be interested in kicking in 500 to this to make sure your name is at the top? Get 10 guys like that, you get the advertising.
I think it's a great idea. Coldwell Banker used to have a concierge list forever, and it was operated the same way.
Mhm.
They pay them, they have to pay them to be on.
And I'm sure you have relationships with all those people anyway.
I do.
That's the,
I've never thought about charging them, but now I am.
well, I'm just saying.
That's more leads, you know, that way I see
It's
it,
easy.
that, you know, if you really want to get jump started, the relationship got cheap, and always take that money, buy leads, and you can sell, you know, build that one too.
Well, or if you're doing a booth or, you know,
Yeah, or a big
You're looking
networking
for
event for all your
big
clients.
networking
You can use the
event,
money
get
and charge not
sponsorships.
just pocket money, but put it back into the business to create more. And then invite your vendors to those things to make relationships themselves. Oh, shit, you get 20 vendors that pay $500 a piece. It's quite the networking event. We break it up into 2 a year, 5,000. That's quite the budget for what you can do.
Mhm.
You know, and make sure those people are there. These are great ideas. I don't know if you're getting any of these, but these are great ideas.
I was just thinking about it because I think that'd be a great way to get your marketing.
Absolutely.
You get one roof
Just you
for
get
500
You
bucks.
have flooring guys, you have plumbers, electricians, you have roofers, siding, window guys, concrete guys, asbestos removal. And it goes on and on and on. I think HVAC people, radon mitigation. I mean, there's quite a list of people that you could put together. You know, quite the list.
Especially when you make it a large list, you can really, that'd be not a lot of money on their part.
All right, for those of you who are still here, we'll let you go. If you want to stay and ask Matt a couple more questions, you're welcome to do that. The weather looks awful, so if you want to hang out, you're welcome to do that as well. But thank you for coming. We'll see you in just a couple weeks again.
Nice job, man.
Reach out if you need help, have questions.
I'm going to help Jason here with this in May. If anybody, you guys